I still remember the exact moment the panic hit me like a freight train. I was standing barefoot in the tiny bathroom of our double-wide trailer out here in Vermilion Parish, Louisiana. The air so thick with humidity it felt like breathing through wet cotton. The pregnancy test lay on the edge of the sink, two bright pink lines staring back at me under that buzzing fluorescent bulb. My hands shook so hard I had to grip the counter to keep from falling. The doctor later confirmed it. 8 weeks along, everything looking normal. But nothing about this was normal, because for the last 4 years, every single weekend without fail, my husband and his brother have been sharing me according to their strict rotation schedule. And now this baby growing inside me could belong to either one of them, and I have no earthly idea which. The fear clawed at my throat right then and there. Outside, I could hear them both on the porch, laughing low and easy, the way they always do on a Saturday night, clinking beer bottles, talking about the Saints game like the world was right as rain. Billy, my husband, and Tommy, his younger brother, acting like this was just another ordinary weekend in the Bayou. But it was never ordinary. Not since our wedding night. It started back in 2020, right when things were opening up again after the lockdowns. I was 23 years old, working the graveyard shift at the Waffle House off Highway 90, the one with the flickering sign that you can see for miles across the sugarcane fields. Grease hung in the air so thick it coated your skin, and my feet ached by the end of every double. Billy started coming in regular on Thursday mornings, fresh off the rig, coveralls still smelling of diesel and salt water. He had this easy smile, called me darling every time he ordered his scattered, smothered, covered hash browns. Tommy tagged along sometimes, quieter, always nursing a sweet tea and watching everything with those dark eyes. They were thick as thieves, those two, raised out in the marsh with their daddy's stories about how family sticks together no matter what. We moved fast. Billy took me out on his flat-bottom boat into the Atchafalaya Basin one Sunday afternoon, the sun beating down, the air alive with the buzz of mosquitoes and the splash of nutria rats. He showed me how to bait a crab trap, his rough hands covering mine, and when he kissed me under those dripping cypress trees, I felt like I had finally found someone who saw me. 6 months later, he proposed at his mama's house during the big crawfish boil. Steam rose off the pots, cayenne burned my lips, and everyone was hollering and sucking heads. I said yes before the ring even slid all the way on. I was young and stupid and so damn in love I couldn't see straight. The wedding was simple, held in that little white clapboard church off County Road 4. Spanish moss brushing the roof like it was trying to pull the whole place back into the swamp. I wore a second-hand lace dress from the thrift store in Lafayette, and Billy looked so proud in his rented suit. The reception spilled out into the yard behind his mama's place. Paper lanterns, Zydeco music from a Bluetooth speaker, and way too much beer. By the time we left for the motel near the interstate, I was floating on pure happiness. I thought this was the beginning of everything good. That night in room 212 is when the whole world flipped upside down. We had barely closed the door when Billy got this serious look on his face. He told me there was something I needed to understand about his family, a tradition that went back generations in the Cajun marshes, something about keeping the brothers bonded so tight that nothing and nobody could ever come between them. He said jealousy had ruined families before, split up land and bloodlines, and his daddy had sworn they would never let that happen again. Then he stepped outside for a second and came back with Tommy right behind him. I stood there in my wedding dress, heart hammering, not understanding what was happening until it was already happening. Billy kept repeating that this was the only way to keep the family close forever, that I was part of them now, and this was how we proved it. That night, they both stayed with me, and when the sun came up through the cheap curtains, I lay there between them feeling like I had stepped into someone else's nightmare. From that first night forward, the schedule became law in our house. Every weekend, strict rotation. Friday night through Saturday afternoon belonged to Billy. Saturday night through Sunday evening belonged to Tommy. No exceptions, no excuses, not even when I had the flu, or when my period was so bad I could barely stand. Billy insisted it had to be that way to keep everything fair, to keep the bond strong, just like their daddy and uncles had done before them. He said the land out here in the parish had stayed in the family for 150 years because of rules like this, and I was the lucky one who got to help continue it. At first I fought it hard. Sunday nights I would lock myself in the bathroom and cry until my eyes swelled shut, scrubbing my skin raw under the weak shower stream that never got hot enough. The smell of their aftershave and sweat, and the cheap cigarettes they both smoked, would cling to the sheets for days no matter how much bleach I used. I tried talking to Billy about it during the week when things felt almost normal. He would just pull me close, stroke my hair, and tell me I was overthinking it, that outsiders never understood how deep family ran out here in the Bayou, that this was what made us stronger than all those city couples who divorced over nothing. After a few months, the fight started leaking out of me. The weekends blurred into one long haze of heat and hands and the slow creak of the box spring in our bedroom. I learned to go somewhere else in my head while it happened, counting the water stains on the ceiling, listening to the distant rumble of trucks on the highway, focusing on the sticky Louisiana air pressing down on everything. Billy would bring me little gifts afterward, a bouquet of wildflowers he picked along the ditch, or a pint of Bluebell ice cream from the Dollar General. Tommy was gentler in his own way, always making sure I had water after, never raising his voice. But the shame never left. It sat in my chest like wet concrete. One particular weekend in the middle of hurricane season stands out. The rain was coming down sideways, thunder shaking the trailer, and Tommy's turn had just started. I told Billy I couldn't do it that night, that the storm had me too scared and my nerves were shot. Billy's face got hard in a way I had never seen before. He said if I broke the schedule now, it would tear the family apart, that Tommy had been counting on this, that I owed it to all of us after everything they had given me. So I went through with it, while the wind howled outside and the power flickered. When it was over, I lay there listening to the rain hammer the metal roof and wondered how long I could keep pretending this was love. The years piled up, 4 full years of that rotation ticking like a clock I couldn't stop. I kept working at the Piggly Wiggly in town, stocking shelves, smiling at customers, making small talk about the weather while my body belonged to 2 men every weekend. Neighbors would wave when I drove past in Billy's old Ford pickup, never knowing what went on behind our closed doors. At family cookouts, I sat between them at the picnic table, passing the potato salad, while they both rested their hands on my knee under the table, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Then 3 months ago, everything shifted again. I missed my period. At first, I blamed the stress, the heat, the long shifts. But the nausea started hitting me hard every morning when the Bayou fog rolled in thick and green. On Tuesday, I drove 30 miles to the pharmacy in Lafayette so nobody would recognize me, bought the test, and hid it in my sock drawer. 2 days later, I took it. Positive. I sat on the toilet staring at those 2 lines until the sun went down. That night, after the weekend rotation finished, I told Billy. He lit up like a kid on Christmas, picked me up, and spun me around the kitchen, even though I was already feeling sick. Tommy reacted the same way when he found out the next day, both of them grinning, already arguing over names and whether the baby would have Billy's curly hair or Tommy's straight one. Neither one of them even mentioned a paternity test. Billy just kept saying this was perfect, that the baby would bind the 3 of us even tighter, that this was exactly what the family needed to stay close forever. Now, I'm sitting here 8 months pregnant, belly so big I have to sleep propped up on 3 pillows, the baby kicking like it knows something is wrong. The doctor in Lafayette keeps asking if the father wants to come to the next ultrasound, and I always mumble that he's working the rig. I can't tell her the truth. I can't tell anyone. This is a small parish. Gossip spreads faster than wildfire through dry cane. If people found out, I'd lose my job, my trailer, maybe even the baby once it's born. Social services don't look kindly on arrangements like this. The worst part is the way part of me still loves Billy. He rubs my feet after long shifts, brings me snowballs from the stand down the road when the heat gets unbearable. Tommy built the crib himself out of cypress wood he cut from the back 40. They both talk to my belly every night, telling the baby stories about fishing the bayou and how family is everything. And I just sit there nodding, smiling through the terror, because what else can I do? The AC rattles loud against the 98-degree heat outside, and I can still hear them on the porch right now, laughing about the new outboard motor they want to buy together for the boat. They already painted the nursery a soft yellow, both of them arguing over whether to put the changing table on the left or the right wall. In 4 weeks, this baby is coming, and when it does, I'll have to look into its eyes and wonder every single day which one of them gave it to me. I don't know how this story ends. I don't know if I'll ever find the courage to leave, or if I'll just keep living this twisted life until the swamp finally swallows us all. But one thing is certain. This baby is going to be born into a family that shares everything, whether the world understands it or not. And I'm the one who has to carry that truth for the rest of my life, right here in the sticky heart of Louisiana, where family means forever and the rotation never stops.